First of all, I would like to make a request. This class is more of a discussion. Discussion mari nama pannuvom. I hope everybody know Tamil here. If you don't know Tamil also, please do let me know. So, ஒரு discussion மாதிரி நம்ம போவோம். That is, so that I can hear you. You can ask me some doubts. You can have a discussion, proper discussion kind of class. So, இன்னைக்கு வந்து we are going to now we are going to discuss about society and social justice related topic. So, before going to the topic, before going to the discussion, I would like to tell you about certain points you should remember before going to the personality test. And I would like to congratulate everyone who have cleared mains and all the best for everyone who are attending the personality test. So when you're going to personality test, you should all remember, what you should all remember is fear. It is very important that you should have a confidence because you all have cleared the mains. So first of all, we all have cleared mains. So when we have cleared mains, it means that we know something. Okay, so when we know something, we should not question ourselves whether we know our job. Namari, you should not have any doubt. The main thing here is we should have a very good confidence. Fine. So when we are having confidence, number one, that is a major thing because we are going to check if you are confident enough. Because there will be some questions which are stress-based. They'll check your emotional intelligence. Especially questions from society and social justice is to check two things. One is your empathy, and the next is to check your emotional intelligence. You're checking both these things, empathy and emotional intelligence. When you have confidence, it will definitely boost your emotional intelligence because you should be always ready for a surprise. You might not expect that question. We are preparing. Yes, sometimes you might be facing a surprise and you should not be startled with that surprise. Certain questions which you are not expecting, you should not be like surprised. You should listen to the question. Take time. There is no hurry before answering any question. Take time to just relax, think what words would be very good and answer. And next, first is explore yourself, especially when it comes to society and social justice. We all have certain opinions on every topics. But here, instead of our opinion, we should be keeping legal constitutional provisions as the backup for what stand you are taking. Keep that in mind. Because when we are giving a stand, when you are substantiating your stand with the legal provision, whether it can be a parliamentary act or a constitutional provision or a Supreme Court judgment if possible, your answer cannot be denied. There is no one stand for every issue. So you can take any number of stands. It's up to you, but ensure that you have a backup. You have a substantiation of what stand you're. Next is attend more interviews so that you get used to this stress. Don't think that you can go straight away and attend personality test. No, you have to attend mock interviews so you are usual to this kind of stress situations. It will be very good for you to attend mock interviews and you'll get used to do those situations and you'll be confident in the exam also. Because when you are speaking, there are certain words which are more suitable than what words we are using right now. Okay, that can be. And when it comes to Aditya, when it comes to mock interview, there is a limit. Do not attend too many mock interviews and don't be without attending mock interviews also. Attend minimum of 5 mock interviews and not more than 15 mock interviews. That is what I would suggest. Minimum of 5 would help you, but not more than 15 or 20. Sometimes when you're attending a mock interview, they might ask you come again. That will help you. That will definitely help you because they want to check if you are improving. That's important. But not too much, not very less. You should find your number. Next is social justice and governance are interlinked. You should understand that because for all the society related issues, governance is a solution. So when they are asking you some question, what do you think is a solution? How to change? Try to bring in some schemes. Try to bring in governance related concepts inside what you're speaking about. When there is women related issue, You bring in some scheme for women empowerment and you tell them this can be done. Because most of the question will be asked about stand and what can be done. So you should talk about you should talk like an administrator instead of going to mains mode. Because since we just finished our mains, we'll go to a mains mode. We always want to start with we speak both, we go to conclusion. The answer should be very crisp and you include all these related data in your answer. This is that next is practice while speaking. Now you start practicing. Whenever you're speaking to others, start practicing. Why? You should take breaks between words. You should not be too slow, not be too fast. Because when we get anxious, that we speak very fast. When you are speaking in a slow manner, you will be giving proper words instead of speaking in an anxiety. So I would suggest you to start speaking in English. What language you're preferring for your personality test, I would suggest to practice in that particular language, especially improve your vocabulary, like reading newspapers, note down those words separately, and try to include those words in what you speak. That will really help. Newspaper will help you a lot. Next, listen more. Talk to many people and listen more. Ask them, what do you think? Kind of, especially this peer group will help you in personality test, but choose your peer group. Then is bring in more constitutional and legal provision. That is very, very, very important. I'm telling you this again. Constitutional and legal provisions, substantiated stance are always preferred. And when we are looking at those topics now, we'll be discussing some society and social justice related topics. And in some questions, I'll tell you, you can take any stand because those questions are stand. You cannot take single stand. For certain questions, you have to take single stand. For example, when there is a question related to sexual violence or sexual harassment in workplace, you should take a stand. It is wrong. That's all. There is no middle path for that. And you have to substantiate that with POSH Act. That this is how you should take. But for certain situations where there is a need for attitude change, you can take a middle path, giving them a long-term solution. Instead of just short-term solutions, give them a long-term solutions. So that is how you should take a stand. You should think before answering. Take a small 1 or 2 seconds before answering every time. Even you know the answer for that question, well, time to answer. That is very, very, very important. Pause between every words you speak so that you are clear, audible, and confident. Okay, fine. So any doubts in whatever we discussed now? This is a general discussion, especially with social justice and society in the mind. How to face these kind of questions. Yes. Since it's a personality test related session, more kind of discussion is encouraged. That is how it will be more helpful for you also. Am I clear? What? No doubts? Yes. So we'll move into the today's session topic. I'm sharing a presentation. At the same time, I'll make sure that you are getting this presentation also. So what I will do is I am setting the ground rule here. What is that ground rule? Is that here I'm going to give you some perspective, not the concept. Conceptual clarity is something you should work on. I'll give you the types of question you might expect, and also some questions I'll tell you what kind of stand you can take. And one more thing is you will all be getting a mail. If you have any doubts related some particular question, what kind of stand to be taken, please mail that question to the mail ID from which you got this link, this Zoom link. And also there is a Telegram group and that is also sent to your mail ID. Please join the Telegram group where we can share articles, we can help each other. Okay, fine. And one more thing is read your DAF and your DAF related society and social justice related questions can be expected. Okay, because of a society, what issues in your state or your particular district, your birthplace, anything can be expected. So DAP is very, very important. You should know yourself. If there is any situation where you have to address, or if you need any change in yourself also, this is the right time to try. Because personality test preparation is a very, very beautiful process. Compared to the first two steps, where we concentrated more on academic part, in this, we are going to concentrate on ourselves. So that is a very beautiful part. So exploring yourself and reading your DAF, it is very important. And we need a positive attitude. Keep that in mind. We should be optimistic because there are problems. Even though you accept there is a problem, you also should follow it up with a solution. If they're asking, do you think there is a problem? You should tell them if you really feel there is a problem, yes, there is a, and please do come up with a solution. Be positive. Don't give any statements like nothing can be done. It is very bad. These kind of statements should be avoided. And do not lie. Don't bluff. Why? Because they are all the people who are interviewing us, who are conducting the personality test, are having so much experience. They will easily find out if you are bluffing. So do not, even though you don't know, I don't know answer, or I don't remember right now, I definitely learn it. This will be like, and don't say that I don't know abruptly. I don't remember now. I should learn it in future. I will learn it. These kind of answers are preferable. And improve your communication skills. And do not, and one more thing I would like to tell you is your communication skill. Ma'am, should I speak very good English, very complicated English? Nothing like that. You should speak basic English the way you have to communicate. It should be clear. That is the only thing needed. You need not worry about how can I improve my English right now, ma'am. By reading newspapers will definitely help you, and change very small basic grammar. That will only. Do not worry. Do not lose your confidence because of the language. Because language is for communication. And here I also mentioned improve your communication skills, not your language. Keep that in mind. Okay, that is very, very important. And get straight to the point. Do not, take more time to talk about one thing. Your answer should be very crisp and very concentrated. I'll tell you like how we use essence. When we are making something, we use a concentrated form of liquid, what we call it as essence. That is how you should speak. Crisp, at the same time, very effective. Okay. Next is optional subject. And it is very, very important. Your optional should be revised. What you prepared in the mains should be revised. Read newspapers and mostly try to give a balanced answer. And keep very calm. Don't panic at any situation. Do not panic. That's very, very important. Because sometimes there are stress interviews where they might try to trigger your emotions. That is what they are checking. Are you emotionally intelligent? That is what they are checking. Always keep it in mind. We have cleared mains. It means that we have some basic knowledge. We can use them, and definitely we can clear this personality test also. All the best, and we'll go into the topic today. So Indian society and social issues. So before going into the topic, I want you to be free and you can ask me if you have any doubts. And number one. And number two, and you can also start the audio and you can ask any doubts then and there. And when the question is about the data, you should please check it by yourself because the time is very short. We have to go through more perspectives. So first topic. So these are the topics we are going to discuss today: hijab issue and communalism, sons of soil-based reservation, women marriage act, marriage age. We are there is a increase in the age from 18 to 21, and then we will be discussing about domestic violence, women cooperative revolution, and then hashtag Me Too movement, gender pay gap and reforms, and then reaping India's demographic dividend, demographic shift and fertility rate, National Family Health Survey, UP Population Control Bill, Poverty and Issue, Migrant Issue, Tribal Welfare. And this National Family Health Survey 5, you please try to search for data related to National Family Health Survey and take notes of certain data. Especially if you are a women candidate, there might be questions related to women, almost all the topics. Women domestic violence or participation, rate of workforce, ratio related changes or health, any kind of questions can be asked. And what data you can use to substantiate is this National Family Health Survey data. Please do take a look on these data and make note of certain important points that will help you to substantiate your stand. When you're taking any stand, you can tell them according to National Family Health Survey, this is the data, so we have to do something about it, or this can be done, it is successful. These kind of substantiations you can give. Next, first is hijab issue and communalism. Hijab is a scarf or clothing worn by Muslim women to cover their hair to maintain modesty and privacy from unrelated males, either in public or at home. The concept is not unique to Islam alone. Keep that in mind. It is also related to Judaism and Christianity also. So whenever we are speaking about hijab, do not have an assumption that it is related to one particular religion. So please be very careful when there is a question. They might ask, do you think hijab is related to Islam, religion of Islam alone? You should be able to say, no, it is related to Judaism also, Christianity also. So the origin of the issue, what happened was recently in Karnataka, which is especially Udupi, Gandhi Memorial College. So students have given, given a press conference related to the denial of permission to keep them wearing hijabs to enter into their classrooms. So the college said you should not wear hijabs, and they gave a press conference, and the case has gone to court, and there is a split verdict. Split verdict is they got half of the judges supported the other side, half of the judges supported the opposite side. So any stand related to this hijab issue from the Supreme Court, you should note it down. Okay. So if there is any stand or if there is any statement given by judgment given by Supreme Court, then they can ask what is the Supreme Court's view, do you agree or not kind of question you can be expecting. You can see the third question, which is related to, they might ask what is the Supreme Court's view. If there is any statement given by Supreme Court, you can expect this as a question. Okay. Yes. So what is hijab issue all about can be a question. How is religious freedom protected under the Constitution can be a question. So they are expecting you to talk about the fundamental rights. They will ask you what are the articles which is related to right to freedom of religion. And will this lead to the erosion of country's secular fabric? So this can be a question. So they are asking you how this kind of question also has come in mains once. How this secularism is, is secularism a threat to cultural fabric of India? That was asked once. So you should know how to back it up. Do you think if it is erosion of secular fabric, you should say, no, it is not an erosion of secular fabric. Indian secularism is different from Western secularism. These kind of statements can be expected. What is the essential religious practice test? Is there a need to relook on this doctrine? That also can be expected. What if you were the district collector when the protest erupted? How would you have dealt with the same? Tell us the course of action. So when there is a question related to course of action, be careful. You should know what should come second. All these kind of questions should be asked, should be answered very properly. Fine. So what if you were the district collector when the protest erupted? How would you have dealt with the same? So always do not start with violence first. Whenever these kind of questions, course of action kind of questions are asked, you should be saying it in a step-by-step manner. Okay, so short-term addressing, long-term address. So short-term addresses, you have to address with the people. And if you are a district collector, obviously you will be asking the support of SP of that particular district. This is how you should start. You should gather the force there first. You should talk to them. And if violence erupts, then you should take some other action. So this is the proper course of action you should be telling them. You need not worry that should I tell a very, very proper course of action, complete official details. They know that you do not know the proper official details. You need not worry about it. Don't worry about proper official details. But you should tell them that first you have to communicate that. First, I will try to communicate with them. First, I will try to talk to them. Only if there is any law and order issue, then I have to take proper action. These kind of answers should be given. Do not take radical stand at first itself. Okay? Right. Sons of soil based reservation. So concept of sons of soil is deeply embedded in the human psyche. So recently this reservation, and there are so many topics. The sons of soil reservation is both the concept related to reservation in educational institutions and also reservation in terms of public offices. The sons of soil reservation can be asked in both the concepts. So keep that in mind. You should know what is a son of soil. Son of soil means a person who's a domicile. Domicile. This also can be a question. What is the difference between resident and domicile? Resident is a temporary stay, address where you are staying temporarily. Domicile is your permanent address. This difference should be known. So especially it is related to this place of birth and confers some benefits, rights, roles, and which is not applying to others. So this is the view that a state specifically belongs to the main linguistic group inhabiting it. So this is because many believe that a state is having a population which follows a particular language. The belief in the minds of people is causing this. Especially you should remember when there is a question related to this, you can say that our constitution, our India is we are unitary in nature. That is what you should keep it in mind. Fine? Okay. So states such as Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh have the laws that provide for domicile-based reservation, and most of these have been challenged. You should know that there are reservations and they have been challenged in court. And recently, Punjab and Haryana High Court has quashed this reservation of 75% to domiciles, especially in terms of private sector jobs. Fine. So what kind of questions can be expected? What are the factors that lead to development of such human psyche? This can be a question. So what all measures can be taken at the societal level to avoid such mentality? So this kind of question, here they're asking you question related to how can how can you bring attitude change in terms of the sense of soil-based reservation? What kind of attitude change can be brought? That is what they're asking you as a question. What are the factors that are leading to the development of such human psyche? Fine. So many confuse that when the promotion of land, the protection of the culture necessarily means that you are asking for the right. This is my soil. I only should get the reservation kind of psyche is developed because of some political factors also. That also you can state. The measures can be taken at the societal level is promotion of nationalism instead of promoting regionalism. This should be your answer. Nationalism concept will help you here. So can you name some states that have been impacted by this with the example of respective movements? Is there any state that is still untouched by the same? So check if there is any state that do not have this sons of soil-based reservation and note that down. Okay. So why I'm asking you to search is that when you are searching, especially for personality test, when you are searching for these data, that will lead to some other data that might help you in personality test. Do not confine by getting some material preparing. Start searching more. It will improve your personality test performance. That is what I'm telling you. Because when you search for something, you will find something else that might help you in your personality test. because it is very dynamic form of test. That is what I want you all to remember. It is very, very, very dynamic form of. Fine. Next. So whatever I'm giving is also probable question. You can expect more questions also. You can even sit and write if there are any question possible. Yes. Can we link with underdevelopment? So this sons of soil-based reservation, can you rephrase what question you're asking? What is the question you're asking, Harini? Link it with underdevelopment mean? Are you, correct me if I'm wrong, do you want to relate that sons of soil-based reservation might lead to underdevelopment, or you're asking me that underdevelopment can be addressed if there is any sons of soil-based reservation because of lack of. No. What I'm asking is, see, especially this reservation are there. The problem is there is no, you cannot take a stand that reservation should not be there. Reservation should be there. Reservations are already there. Yes. But the reservation also should have a limit. At the same time, it should not be like giving way for people who are not deserving that position, but they are getting the position just because they are demanding for son of soil-based reservation. That is how you should address. Definitely, underdevelopment can be addressed with sons of soil-based reservation. Yes, but there should be a limit. How we have a limit of reservation in public offices as an exception in fundamental right. This can be there. Sons of soil-based reservation is fine, but it should not be like more than this percentage. You can suggest a measure that it should not be more than this kind of percentage. Can be such an answer. Okay. Can governments discriminate on the basis of domicile? So this is a question. Actually, there are exceptions in fundamental rights. Please go and search. You can search example of states who are giving domicile as a exception, as a reason for discrimination. You can please note down from the constitution point of view. Yes. Okay. No, Article 15 do not use exception in terms of Article 16. Public office, we have certain exceptions for discrimination, especially in basis of domicile. Please do check that. Yes, please do check that. Some arguments in favor of such law and some in against. They might ask you to give arguments as we discuss now. So you can such law where in a certain state which they have underdeveloped, they are not developed like other states. Giving sons of soil reservation might help the upliftment of their own people. At the same time, you should talk about against, whereas the reservation, the mere reservation should not pull the people down from developing themselves. This kind of discussions will help you for these questions. Can it be channelized in a way to develop the spirit of competitive federalism? This also can be asked as a question. First, you should know what is competitive federalism. Healthy competitive federalism. If they're asking you, can it be channelized in a way to develop the spirit of competitive federalism? You can give a positive answer. You cannot outrightly say no. You can give a positive answer, but at the same time, please tell them that we can channelize it, but ensure that it does not lead to regionalism. Instead, it is encouraging the spirit of healthy competitive federalism. Be the answer. Do not say be used. Kind of answer can be avoided. Next, women marriage age to 21. Increasing minimum age of marriage for women to 21 years as provisioned in the Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021 would come into effect 2 years after the bill is notified and following its passage in Parliament. This gap would provide ample time to citizens. They are saying that when it is passed by the Parliament, after 2 years, it will be coming into force because they want to give time for the citizens to adjust for this reform. The bill currently with Parliamentary Standing Committee envisions making the age of marriage of women at par with men. They want to make it with par with men. So obviously, here what they're trying to do here, please do understand that they want to bring in
equality. That is the main thing. So opportunity for the women also should be improved because of marriage. They should not be denied with higher educational opportunities. They should not be denied with other job opportunities. That is why they are trying to increase the age of women to 21, marriage age of women to 21. So question can be, what is the need to increase the age of marriage for women to 21? So you can have statements here. What is that is, when we are increasing the age of marriage, what happens is that we will have advantages. We can prevent certain issues like maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate. Yes, of course, Harini. So we can decrease the maternal mortality rate and we can decrease the infant mortality rate. At the same time, when the marriage age is increased, what happens is that population control actually can be achieved when the marriage age of women is increased, because the fertility time will be decreased. So marriage and the fertility time, the time between the start of menstrual cycle and menopause, it decreases. So what happens? It can even help in population control. That can be a very different answer. Many do not speak about this point. Please do speak about this point also. Fine? Yes. And then more autonomy in decision, of course. So what happens is that when the women's marriage age is increased, obviously education should be given to them. So when education is given, they will have autonomy in decision. At the same time, they will also have more financial independence. So you can state all these reasons, because this women marriage age increasing to 21 can be an answer to many other social evils. You can say in a very like this. So probable question, what is the need to increase the age of marriage for women to 21 can be a question where obviously the answers you told now are very good answer. It will definitely address the issue of maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, and population related, increased population related concepts. And also it is a form of empowerment to women. These kind of answers, almost 4 points we have said, are very, very good answers. What are the historical reasons behind setting different age threshold for men and women can be a question. So here, what are the historical reasons you can talk about? So please do find what reasons you can discuss here, all these things. And according to some experts, several girls decide to get married early to get rid of violent homes. This is a very important question. Listen. According to some experts, several girls decide to get married early to get rid of homes considered as burden and need to be married off. They consider marriage as an option for freedom. However, the implementation of this law might change the situation. What is your opinion? So in this kind of question, what you should answer is here. The simple answer is getting married or shifting from one place to other place is never a solution. That is how your answer should be. Shifting from one home to the other home is never an answer. What if the home she is married to is also violent? Fine. So this should be the answer you should give, that marry off early to escape a violent home is not a solution. So we should encourage women, or we should make the women informed about the legal provisions available for them kind of violent places. So there are many acts, Domestic Violence Act. So these acts you can quote so that you can tell them that marriage is never a solution for violence related to home. That is how your answer should be. Next is, the government states that this would bring gender equality in the country and will resolve other problems. Yes. So attitude of parents should be changed. Anurag, you're right. So attitude of parents should be changed. How it can be changed? Then you can quote all this Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Now there are many states which are incentivizing a family who are encouraging their girl children to pursue higher studies. So you can quote those states also. So what happens is, this way we can encourage the family who are encouraging their daughters to pursue higher education. So these kind of answers will definitely be very, very encouraged. The government states, next question we'll discuss. The government states that this would bring gender equality in country and will resolve other problems such as maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, poor health of women, etc. But merely extending the marriage by 2 years without looking at other social factors cannot be the right way to change legislation. What are some other factors that also lead to be considered for women empowerment? See, this question, for this only, I asked you to look into National Family Health Survey. So there you can look about this. So increasing this 2 years of age of marriage also, you should keep it in mind. So apart from that, you can talk about their educational empowerment. You can talk about financial empowerment. They're asking what are all the other factors you should be considering. Educational, financial, health-wise also there should be a development. Nutritional status, improvement in nutritional status of women, and then improvement in their knowledge related to their rights. So they should be informed about what all rights they have. So these are the factors you can give them as apart from increasing the 2 years of age, you can also bring in this particular these statements in your answer. So next question. Even in the proposed law, girls are not getting the freedom to choose their partners, and there is no importance given to the consent from a girl side. So if there is a question asked, please do quote Article 21. Because Article 21 has right to marrying a person of one's own wish. We have Article 21 already in Constitution. So when this question is asked, you can tell them that we have the provision in Article 21. But the main issue here is the gap of information gap. Yes. So the girls or the women do not know that they have Article 21. Fine. That is how. So here what we should work on is, we already have a provision for this. The only thing we should work on is that the girls are informed. The girls are aware that they have this particular right. And you can also mention the Supreme Court judgment and the case related to it. Fine. Okay. Next. Domestic violence against women. So whenever you are speaking about domestic violence, keep it in mind. So domestic violence includes physical violence, sexual violence, and also mental violence. Even in the Domestic Violence Act, these three violences are also financial form of violence is also included here. When a husband is not providing the women, that is also a form of violence that is also included here. I'll suggest you to go and take a quick look on this domestic violence, dowry case related laws. So women empowerment related laws, please look into it. And one more thing is, we will see in the question that the side, that is, if a female is abusing her male partner, there is no provision for protecting the male partner. That is the issue in terms of domestic violence case. Recently, we all know this case, right? So in Hollywood, we saw a case where the female has attacked the male. So based on that, you can also expect questions related to this. What if a male is facing the violence? Do we have any provision in the law? That can be a question. See, what can be yes, do we have, when have been violence? What legal remedy this person has? Actually, under Domestic Violence Act, men do not have a remedy because it is considered widely that men are stronger physically than women. But you should quote what the Law Commission has stated. May be used as a ground to remove the law, remove the act. What can be done is, there can be an amendment considering that men also can be attacked emotionally, men also can be attacked financially, men also can be attacked physically also. Yes. So please do consider that and answer this question. Fine. So what are the questions we can expect is here? Have we normalized domestic violence against women as a society, especially when we take note of the rural areas? This is very, very important. Have we normalized domestic violence? In this situation, please do address at least physical violence have been accepted as a form of violence in many places, but emotional violence, mental abuse has been normalized, unfortunately, in many families. And you can also say that it's not just in terms of rural areas. It has been seen in other, even in urban areas also. And they might ask you, because always keep one thing in mind, your answer will lead to other question. They might ask you a question. If that is the case, what can be the remedy? Or what is the reason for normalization can be a question. There you can quote patriarchy as an answer. So the patriarchal mindset has made both the male and female to believe that certain form of violences are okay. Certain form of violences are normal. Emotional violences are normal. And what is the solution for this is change in attitude, gender sensitization, gender awareness. These kind of answers. Obviously, this will lead to many questions. So then you should be ready to answer all these questions. Fine? Yes. So have we normalized domestic violence? And what are the causes that lead to domestic violence? So for this, what are the causes that lead to domestic violence? You can see the answer here. It is a form of establishment of control and fear. So this can be a good answer for ask when there is a question. What is the reasons that lead to? So it is the establishment of control and fear in a relationship through violence and other forms of abuse. And it is also sometimes considered to be okay because of the patriarchal mindset. Okay. Yes. See here, it can be a physical assault, psychological abuse, social abuse, financial abuse, or sexual assault. Anything, all these things comes under domestic violence. Please do go and have a look into this Domestic Violence Act. Yes. So as per World Health Organization, about 1 in 3, that is 35% of women worldwide have experienced either physical or sexual intimate partner violence or non-partner sexual violence in their lifetime. You can use this statement, World Health Organization statement, to substantiate for questions like this has this been normalized kind of thing. So next is recently we have seen reports where men have been on the receiving end of such violence. So that is what you have to accept that yes, the provision is there is a assumption that men are physically strong, and sometimes it is also men are physically strong. They are not allowed to cry. All these issues are there. So you can tell them, and you please quote if there is any Supreme Court judgment or if there is any bill which is related, or if you can also tell them that we can amend the Domestic Violence Act and make it gender neutral. So use these kind of terminologies, gender neutral. Now, instead of talking about gender equality, we are trying to go to the next step where we speak about gender neutrality. Okay, you can mention all these things. Because when we speak about LGBTQ community, next class we'll be discussing about LGBTQ plus community. So there, instead of speaking about gender equality, we speak about gender neutrality. Yes. Now we have all these unisex products. You can quote that also. Now many prefer certain brands of clothing, certain brands of footwear because they are gender neutral. They are unisex. That is preferred. You can talk about all these examples. You can give them. Next, rampant misuse of domestic violence. Should we include rights also in domestic violence in case of live-in relationship? Actually, Supreme Court has accepted domestic violence in terms of live-in relationship. So when they are in the live-in relationship also, they can come under Domestic Violence Act. They have addressed this. Yes, you can give this statement in live-in relationship. But male kind of concept, they might ask you. You can quote, in general, male do not have a remedy. Male should have a remedy. These kind of answers can be given. Yes. Okay. And they can ask live-in relationship also. Yes, Supreme Court has recognized living relationship also can come under the purview of Domestic Violence Act. Yes. Okay. Even though, see, keep one thing in mind, even though you do not have any question, I mean, you do not remember Supreme Court judgment, the case name, it's okay. Just state that Supreme Court has said, Supreme Court has given judgment. Yes. And Subhashni, female, they do have domestic violence related remedy. Female. The thing is, the victim should be a female here. If the victim is female, there is a remedy. The other side can be anyone, that can be a male or a female. That is a different concept. Here, the point of discussion is, if the victim is a female, there is a remedy under Domestic Violence Act. But who is the one accused? That is not an issue here. Okay, this is one you should remember. If the victim is male, there is no remedy under Domestic Violence Act. Okay. Okay. And one more thing is, they don't twist these kind of, you need not worry, but still you should be ready. This is the thing. The victim should be a female, and if the victim is female, there is a remedy under Domestic Violence Act. Yes. And it is not the other way. So rampant misuse of Domestic Violence Act. See, keep it in mind. If there is any question related to any act, there is a misuse. Should this act be removed? Keep this in mind. Misuse cannot be stated as a reason for removal of any act or any rules and regulations or any code. This is what you should remember. If there is any question related to this rampant misuse, if they are asking you any solution, you can talk about making the law even more clarified. So, for example, in domestic violence, you can be giving more, it can be yes, Anurag, exactly. It can be amended in such a way that the misuse is avoided. Okay. So this kind of answer can be given. What can we do at the individual level to curb this menace? So what can we do at the individual level to curb this menace is, so when there is a initial sign of domestic violence, immediately you should know that it should be reported. The belief that a person can be changed without a report, or a belief that as a partner, it is very normal about domestic violence, is wrong. So immediately it should be reported. Immediately help should be. Well, this is at the victim point of view. The other point of view, one who are performing domestic violence, what can be done? Again, the answer should be gender sensitization. From the educational, school education, the value education, all these things will lead to the change in attitude of the person about performing violence to the partner. Okay, this kind of answer will be encouraged there. Next. So often neighbors and other relatives are aware of such violence. However, they do not come forward as marriage is considered as private affair. What should be done? So here, when the violence is visible, what should be the answer here is, when the violence is visible, you should try to change the attitude of the partner who's undergoing the violence to report. Okay, this can be an answer. Otherwise, if the violence is visible, you can see the violence. Mostly physical abuse can be seen, visibly seen. At that situation, a report should be given. Okay, this is the extreme stand. When it is a visible form of violence and we know it for sure, then the person should be reporting to the police. And if it is invisible, we cannot assume. Then it becomes a personal affair. That's different. But from the victim point of view, the first instance, if the person is facing the violence, immediately it should be reported. From the other point of neighbor's point of view, when the violence is visible, it should be reported. That is how you should speak about. And one more thing you can talk about is, today in terms of domestic violence or dowry cases, the FIR is not immediately filed. They initially go for more, since it's a private case, it is a marriage-related cases, they do not immediately file FIR. They have counselings also. The help is also given. You can also state that, because people are having a fear of not reporting these domestic violence dowry cases, because They have a fear of breaking the marriage. But today, the legal process itself is handled with care such that they do not break the marriage. Okay, so you can also state that because the FIR is not immediately filed. The case is taken, the CSR copy is given, and then they are recommended for psychological counseling. Then only if the case cannot be solved or if the victim wants to file a complaint, only then the FIR is filed. So here, the breaking of marriage is a long-term process. It's not immediate, does not happen just because the case is, complaint. Many believe that immediately after the complaint, the marriage breaks. It's not like that. You can also say this statement saying that many are not aware of this process. That is the reason. Okay. So you can say that no, it does not break the marriage. We can complain so that they do really get a good help for amending their marriage. That is how you should answer. Next, Women Cooperative Revolution. So 11 Bhatt, renowned founder of Self-Employed Women Association, Seva, passed away. She was a noted Gandhian leading women empowerment activist. For her work, 11 received numerous accolades and was conferred several national and international awards. See, cooperative related concepts can be asked as a question because multi-state cooperatives was in current affairs recently. And cooperative society is in constitution also. Please do go and revise all those things. And especially women cooperative revolution can be asked. Why? Because recently, after this recent economic related Nobel Prize, the workforce participation rate improvement is more discussed. Okay. So please do look into this women workforce participation rate. What is the women labor force participation? And then what are all the countries which are performing better because of higher women labor force participation rate? And also look into the states. We are saying this national gender-based labor force participation rate in the states also. And especially if you are a women candidate and if you're belonging to a particular state, you can expect these questions. Okay? Yes. So what is a cooperative? From this topic alone, you can be asked question, what is a cooperative? What is a women cooperative? If do women cooperative help in the empowerment of women? And then are they having higher success rate compared to other cooperatives? These kind of questions you can expect. Okay. Yes. So, and also look into what are the examples of women cooperative revolution. So questions can be, why are we pushing for more and more cooperatives? Many cooperatives in India are plagued by poor governance and management, which can lead to mismanagement, fraud, and corruption. Whenever you see this term, fraud, mismanagement, corruption, what can be your answer is, you talk about accountability and transparency. First, you quote transparency. The improvement of transparency in the cooperative will lead to the prevention of corruption. When corruption is prevented, obviously the efficiency, the governance of particular cooperative will improve. This kind of statements, use these terminologies. Okay. So terminologies like, transparency, accountability, whatever we studied in ethics, those terminologies when used right way. And always ensure that your answer is very realistic and it should be applicable. Okay. It should not be some hypothetical answer. It should be implemented, should be able to be implemented, realistic in nature. So when we are talking about this corruption, here they're asking about governance. So how can it be improved? You should think about all those good governance related answers and please include it in your answer when there is a question asked related to this. Okay. Yes. And next is, what are some constitutional provisions? So obviously know what are all the constitutional provisions, and then what are all the amendment, which amendment it has been added, what is the part it belongs to. And mostly they do not ask about articles. Sometimes fundamental rights, you should know about all the articles. Up to 51A, I would suggest you to know all the articles. And others, if possible, it's okay. If you don't remember, that is also, it is okay. You can tell them, right now, I'm not able to remember it. So I will go and check it once. Once I go home or something, you can say. It's totally okay. Don't panic if you don't remember any data-based question, factual data-based question. If you don't remember, don't panic. It's totally okay. Fine. It is totally okay to tell that you don't remember it at that particular situation. Fine. And next is name any two cooperatives other than Amul that you believe have been successful. I think this question might be asked when there is a statement related to this cooperative. Please do go and check. And when you are belonging to a particular state, they might expect you to answer if there is any question about these cooperatives. They might expect you to the answer about the cooperative that your particular state promotes. Keep that in mind. So that also you go and check. So if they're asking two cooperatives, one, ensure that you know that it is from your state. Okay. Yes, because if you don't remember, if you're saying some other cooperative, they might follow up with the question, what is a cooperative that your state particularly has? There might be a question. So ensure that you know one cooperative, at least one cooperative from your state. Next is, do women cooperative have more chances of success? If yes, then why? This also can be a question. So do women cooperatives have more chances of success? So this kind of question, you can say yes. It's a positive form of approach. Yes. If yes, then why? Then these kind of questions can be asked, can answer. Giving answer as don't know for many questions, it will reflect on marks. See, it will not reflect, keep that in mind. When we say don't know, it will not reflect in your marks. And one more thing about this is, it's not that don't know that is going to affect your marks. How you say it will affect your marks. You understand what I'm telling you? No, I don't know. This kind of answer looks very rude. You can say, sorry, I don't remember it right now. I will definitely go and check it, or I'll definitely learn about it. This kind of polite answers are very much encouraged because everybody knows that we are all human beings. There are so many factors at that particular situation. We might not remember factual data, but conceptual data ensure that you know it. And that is also fine. Sometimes we don't know and you need not panic about it at all. Okay. So saying I don't know the answer will not affect your marks, but the way of you saying that particular answer might affect the marks. Right? Okay.
மேம் இப்போ பொலைட்டாவே தெரியலன்ற மாதிரி சொன்னாலும் அது ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் ஆகாதுங்களா? லைக் நிறைய கொஸ்டினுக்கு தெரியலன்றது வந்து பொலைட்டா நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி சொன்னா மார்க்ல ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் ஆகாதுங்களா? மார்க்
reflect. No, it won't. When you are politely answering and you're also following it up by saying that I will definitely learn about it, it will not reflect in your mark. It's totally okay. People who have scored very high marks that don't know certain questions, because it is not possible that you might be always knowing 100% answer. There are some situations you might not be knowing the answer. It's totally okay. And ensure that after saying you don't know the answer, don't panic for the next question. First, understand that it's totally okay that you don't know the answer, and you just wait for the next question and answer it with, care. Don't let the previous question affect your next answer. That is also very important. It will not affect your marks just because you say you don't know the answer. It's totally okay. Okay, fine. Yes. Next, #MeToo movement. We all know about this #MeToo movement that seeks to end sexual harassment and assault. Women from all over the world shared their personal experience at the part of this movement, shedding attention to the sexual violence that is all too common in our society. Because especially this #movement is related to women's workplace, especially. #movement can be seen. #MeToo movement can be seen for all the form of sexual harassment, especially women who were scared of talking about the sexual harassment. This #movement helped them, encouraged them to speak about their traumatic experience. So the question can be, what are the positive and negative impacts of this campaign? So obviously, we all know negative impacts is where many misused this #MeToo movement. Yes. And there is a follow-up question. Well, are you aware of #Men2 movement? Men2 movement was nothing but it was a campaign launched by men who felt that they have been, spoken in a wrong manner, like they did not commit a mistake, but still they were complained under hashtag #MeToo movement, they launched this hashtag #MenToo movement. And what are positive and negative impacts of this campaign you can talk about? Because many people who have faced the traumatic experience, they spoke about it outside. And here, accusation of victims. So making the victims guilty for the trauma they experienced was one of the main reason why sexual offenses are underreported. So this hashtag #MeToo movement helped them to come out of that shell, come out of that fear of getting accused, and many complained after that. Okay. And next question is, you are a police officer and a female constable has told you about incidents of sexual harassment of her by a senior officer. What would you do? These kind of questions can be asked. Okay. And if there is this kind of question is asked, you should always take the complaint and you should refer it. Every institution should have an institutional remedy, legal remedy, constitutional remedy. This is like you can talk about Vishaka guidelines, where they say that every institution should have an internal committee. So what you should do as a police officer is you should take the complaint, refer that complaint to that particular committee. Every department will have a committee, and that committee should be an independent committee. They will investigate the case. Okay, this is like a dilemma related, ethical dilemma related question. So this is the course of action. You take the complaint, you forward that complaint to the respective department and that particular committee or whatever they are set. So sexual harassment committee, every institution should have. That is a rule of Vishaka guidelines. So please go and read Vishaka guidelines. What is the POSH Act? Read about that POSH Act also. And then you answer all these kind of questions. Here, even though senior officer or whatever it is, you have to take a step to take the complaint. Fine, that is how you should answer. What the next is, you can forward that complaint to the particular committee, and then the committee will take it forward from there. Okay. Yes. Next. Am I clear till this? Shall we go to the next topic? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the provisions for ADR for domestic violence cases? What do you mean by ADR for domestic violence cases? May I know that, Shubhanshi? Okay, so alternative resolution. Yes, there is mediation and negotiation. It actually comes under this domestic violence cases. And domestic violence cases do not go to family court. It's a criminal offense. Okay, domestic violence cases are criminal offense. Before filing the FIR, there is this concept of counseling, mediation. But once it is filed, it goes to a criminal case. There is a dispute resolution mechanism, but that is done by the courts. But before filing the FIR, the police themselves will take care of all these counseling. Okay, so domestic violence, dowry, these two become criminal offenses. Fine. Yes. But these cases do not go to family court. The divorce proceedings are separate. They go to family courts. These domestic violence and dowry cases are criminal offenses. Fine. Okay. Next, gender pay gap and reforms. Gender pay gap in India refers to difference in average wages or earning between men and women in the country. Despite constitutional provisions and various efforts to promote gender equality, gender pay gap remains a significant issue in India. Very, very important, gender pay gap. This can be asked as a question. Because the report, Women and Men in India 2022, released by the National Statistical Office, wage disparity, they have showed. Please go and look into what is the report about it and what is it saying, all these things. So what are the questions? What are the reasons for gender pay gap? That is one important question you can expect. Obviously, the answer here is patriarchy and the belief that women do not perform equal to men. That is the belief system, that is where women do not perform equal to men. That is one issue. And what are the related constitutional provisions? We can talk about right to equality. And then we also have Equal Remuneration Act. You talk about all these things. And what is the way forward? So implementing all these constitutional provisions and implementing this acts. That can be one answer. And one more answer is when there is a punitive form of answer you are giving, the other form should be incentivization form of thing, like how you are encouraging companies that promote gender equality in pay gap. So gender equality in payments. Yes. So these kind of answers you can give like very, a very realistic answer. Yes, promoting inclusiveness. How do you promote inclusiveness? By encouraging the companies which promote gender equality in terms of their payments. Yes. So women representation in company director board. So all these kind of answers can be given. Yes. So what is the way forward? So what has the patriarchy to do with gender pay gap? So what has patriarchy to do with the gender pay gap? That is that the mindset of patriarchy where the women do not perform equal to men and they need not be paid like men can be answered. And one more thing about this gender pay gap is that, yes, so one more thing about gender pay gap is that maternity provisions are there for women. So when you speak about gender pay gap, you can also talk about employment of women itself is not equal here. Many companies avoid employing women because of in future there might be a need of providing them maternity benefits. That is also one issue you can talk about. See here, what will you prefer? Being unemployed till you find a place where there is no gender pay gap, or getting employed at a lesser wage instantly? So these two stands, you can take any stand, but ensure that till you find a place where there is no gender pay gap, if you are answering that, that's fine. I don't think they'll ask you, question beyond that. Getting employed at a lesser wage instantly, if you're talking about that, if you're taking that stand, it's okay. But you have to tell them that I will also keep on searching or I'll change kind of answer can be given. Can we say attitude change aspects, cognitive, behavioral and affective to make equal pay easier across company? Actually, instead of increasing cognitive, behavioral, affective, I'll suggest to keep your answers very short. Why? Because that you can talk about attitude change. That is fine. But when you say all these things, it is like inviting them to ask you more questions going into, because every time the next question is usually what you speak, what words you use. So that is why keeping the answer crisp will actually save you from falling deep inside some tricks. Fine, you can answer it if you feel like answering, that's fine. But when you are improving, when you're lengthening your answer, the one issue here is you might fall into your own trap. That is the issue here. Fine. Women leave early and don't work much are the necessary arguments for less wages for women. Should change society view on women, gender-based division of labor at home to decrease gender pay gap divide. Yes. See, gender-based division of labor at home, that is also one important thing. Instead of talking about gender-based division of labor, the domestic labor done by women are not paid at all. That also has to be addressed. Yes or no? So there are some domestic works women do, like cooking, cleaning, all these things, which are not even addressed. You please address that also. That also you can say. Some places they are not even paid. Okay, domestic help especially. The same work when men do, they are paid in many places. Those domestic works, when men do, they are paid better. They are paid at least, for which women are not paid. Okay, so that also you can address. Next is India's demographic dividend. This will definitely be the question. I think one question will be asked from this. If there is one gender neutral question, this is one gender neutral question. Reaping India's demographic dividend. Questions will be like, what is a demographic dividend? First, please do know about what is a demographic dividend. Please do know about it. And then what is the working population, working age group? 15 years and 64 years. That is the working population age. This can be asked. Okay, so report said that 68% of Indian population is in this working age group. Data, please do know. If they're asking this kind of data, we should definitely know about it. Okay, there are certain factual data also that we should definitely know And this is one such data. Because India is known for this demographic dividend, and we are exporting human resources today. So what kind of questions can be asked? So we do have a working age population, but are we really reaping the demographic dividend benefits? So first is, what do you understand by demographic dividend? And next question you can see, does this mean that we are an aging population like South Korea? See, for this question, we do have a change in demography where in 2050, it is said that we might have double the elderly age group population. Okay, that is also a data. Please look into that data and answer for this. We do have aging population, and because today's working group is tomorrow's aging population. That is a fact. You cannot deny that we are not aging population. We are aging. Fine. What timely measures should be taken to reap the benefits of this demographic dividend? Yes, windfall, economic windfall when we have, yes, higher working population. What timely measures should be taken to reap the benefits of a demographic dividend? One simple, statement is improving the human capital. How do you improve the human capital? Obviously, skill development. Okay. So talk about human capital. What is the demographic dividend here is the human capital. So how do you improve the human capital? Through skill development schemes. Yes, health, standard of living, education, skill development, all these things, especially skill development. That is what we have to speak about, because we already have the working age group population, and by skilling them, we can convert them into human capital. Okay, human resource. Yes. Can you name some government schemes that focus on the same? Speak about skilling schemes you know about. What are the skilling related schemes we know? Please speak about it. Please tell them all those schemes. Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Yes, that is a specific scheme for skilling. You can talk about it. We are still struggling with our manufacturing sector. Where will accommodate this big labor force? So please speak about all this Make in India scheme, and then production linked incentive, and then all these schemes related to improving the manufacturing sector. That will help you to answer this question. Fine? Yes. Next, demographic shift and fertility rate. Demographic shift refers to change in composition of a population over time. This change can occur due to various factors, such as changes in birth and death rates, migration patterns, and changes in social and economic conditions. See, when this session is over, to share you this video in hand, keep these questions as a reference and start searching answer for these questions. That is how you finish all these topics. Beyond these topics, if there is a question, if you are answering these questions available before you, you'll be ready to answer surprise questions also. That is why I'm telling you, ensure keep these questions as a reference and try to find answers. Fine? Okay. So demographic changes in India. 1941, male life expectancy was about 56 years. Only 50% of boys survived to age 28. And then today, life expectancy for men is 69 years, and nearly 50% live to see the ripe old age of 75. Total fertility rate fell from 7 to 2.1 in 2019. I should do as a desired fertility rate for a country, and now we have already achieved in 2019. Presently, in 2023, it is seen to be furthermore decreased to 2. 2 is not a desired fertility rate for a shift in demography. Okay, so you can be asked as a question, what is the reason for this demographic shift? Okay, what is the reason for reduction in fertility rate? Main reason for reduction in fertility rate is education. You think and answer this one, because when a woman is educated, she is financially empowered. She knows about right to body. When she knows about right to body, she will definitely take decisions related to this fertility rate, how many children she should bear. And one more thing, please speak about the awareness of contraceptives. Many do not speak about this. An educated woman knows about contraceptives. Knowing about contraceptives will lead to reduction in fertility rate. This point also you should note it down. And one more thing is today there is a change in trend that many women choose not to bear children. Fine. Choose not to have children today. That is also a trend today. And when you speak about all these points, ensure that you speak in a neutral tone. Do not speak like you accuse the women. Okay, because reduction in fertility rate here is not the crime committed by a women. It is just a change in trend. Every society change. Ensure that you do not sound like you're accusing women. Because when you sound like accusing women, you will be posed even more further questions to confirm what is your attitude about this women working, education, empowerment, all these things. Okay, this is the place where someone who is having a patriarchal mindset might be identified. That's why I'm telling you, explore yourself and then try to change if we have any, if you, everybody here have some ideological differences, try to address that issue by yourself. Okay. Always when there is a question, because the question, the person who's asking you a question might sound very casual, but you should remember that you should be always neutral when you speak about these kind of issues, because fertility rate has fallen. It is having an issue towards demography, yes, but that's not the wrong thing that is done by women. Today, women are educated, and when this education will lead to their employment opportunities, when a woman is employed and educated, she is financially independent. That will lead to her aware about right to body and the contraceptives, and this will definitely lead to reduction in fertility rate. This is a very, very normal process. Everywhere it takes place. You can also substantiate other country. This happened in other country. It's also happening here. This kind of answer also can be given. So what kind of question can be asked? Am I clear what I discussed right now? Is there any doubt regarding this particular topic? What is the relationship between women empowerment and reduction in fertility rate? Yes. Shall I move to the next topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Yes. So demographic shift and fertility rate. What is fertility rate can be a question. Do you have any idea about replacement level fertility rate? So nothing but this is 2.1 is the replacement level fertility rate. If it becomes 2, it is less than the replacement level fertility rate. Please do go and check about what is this TFR decline, total fertility rate. Sometimes they might ask you these kind of abbreviations. Okay, they might ask you what is is TFR declining. If you are not able to remember, you can request them. Please can you expand the TFR? It's totally okay. Okay, you can request them. If these kind of abbreviations are asked, you can request. I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand what is TFR. Please expand it for me, or please explain it for me. So they will definitely answer. So when you understand it is total fertility rate, it will be easy for you to answer. So many times, this abbreviation kind of questions, you can use this polite form of requesting their full form, and it will lead to you knowing the answer and answering the question. The only thing here, always keep it in mind, personality test is to test your personality. It is not to check your factual knowledge. Keep that in mind and use wherever there is a possibility of converting the situation in a positive manner to you, please use it. Okay, for these kind of requests and all, you will get actually extra marks. Okay, fine. So what is the significance of declining TFR? The significance of declining TFR, you can talk about significance. Keep it in mind. When you see a word significance, it means they're asking you both a positive and negative impact. That is what you should keep it in mind. Significance doesn't mean only positive concept. So when you speak about significance of declining TFR, you should say that it will lead to a demographic shift where the population might decrease. That is low birth rate. It will lead to a low birth rate. The population might decline. So in this, there are some positive sides of this where the implement of government policies will be easy. and issues related to population will be reduced. But at the same time, in future, we might be having reduction of demographic dividend. This kind. So when there is a question of significance, you try to address both. Okay, that is how you should answer. When declaring total fertility rate is good, but it should not be less than the replacement level fertility. That is how you should answer. Fine. Okay. Are there any concerns related to total fertility rate? That's why I told. When the total fertility rate is less, so what happens in future is elderly population will be high, low birth rates will be there. Okay. What are your views on sterilization? So please look into this. What are the views on sterilization? Sterilization is one of the important concepts where it is a invasive form of contraception. There are many invasive form of contraception, especially permanent way of removing fertility. That is what is sterilization. And what are your views? One important point you should mention is voluntary sterilization is their right. Because the right to body everybody has. Voluntarily sterilization is their right. That voluntary word is the keyword here. Okay? Yes. Next question. Because, and one more thing is, especially if we are women candidates and married, there might be questions related to the sterilization related questions. Please ensure that you know all these answers. Okay? Yes, they will expect you to know all these answers. At the same time, we all need not worry if the question will be so controversial. No, the chairman will always be, he'll always be saying if there is any controversial question, he will not think twice. Immediately he or she will say to cancel the question, ask some other question. They will do. So you need not worry. You need not panic also. Okay. Yes. Below replacement, high burden on working age population to provide for aging population. That's very true. It's not just for working age population also. Even for governance also will become very tough. Why? Because elderly population, they cannot contribute in the workforce, but still we have to provide them proper health care. We have to provide them for proper nutrition, and mental health also comes into play here. Ensure that wherever possible, please do include mental health concept also. Because recently in budget, we have discussed about mental health. So always try to address mental, emotional aspects also in your answers. Okay. Yes. So it's a large-scale multi-round survey conducted in representative samples of households throughout India. Keep that in mind. It is conducted in samples. It's not like census where entire population is surveyed. But in National Family Health Survey, samples of households are surveyed here. Okay. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has designated the International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai, as a nodal agency. Okay. And they have captured the data recently. And the phase 2 of survey was delayed due to the COVID-19. And the results were released in September 2021. Please do go and have a look at National Family Health Survey. You have compilations also. I think it is also not a very big document. You just go and see the, you just try to find some women-related concept, children-related concept, and then domestic violence, these kind of marriage-related concept, these kind of, some questions are always asked. Those data, please do go and look into it. And it is not compulsory that you remember the numbers, at least know high, low, or at least the range. Okay, that is how we studied for mains also. The same way, just revise them. That's all. Okay. So questions. Is National Family Health Survey reliable or not? We already have census. Why do we go for National Family Health Survey? See, only thing is National Family Health Survey is conducted to know the trends and to predict the future, what we should be ready, what is needed for the future. The word future is the key here. Census is just to know about the population trend, whereas National Family Health Surveys know about the family and health needs for the future. That is how your answer should be. And what do you understand by stunting? what is the ratio, stunting this versus this, wasting this versus this kind of, if it is age versus height, and then weight versus height, these kind of things, please do know. Okay. And can you tell the key difference? This question will definitely be asked. Next is name any government scheme related to anemia. Has it been successful or not? See, this question related to anemia, you can talk about Poshan and then food security schemes, all the food security schemes, even integrated child development scheme. You can talk about all those schemes. Okay. And especially, has it been successful? Yes, it has been successful. Because in terms of pilot mode, these fortified foods have been given in many midday meal in schools. There is a report by the World Health Organization that it has really worked, and now our country is planning to provide this fortified foods in all the schools in the midday meal scheme. Okay, this you can use it in your answer. And how can technology help in increasing the sample size and conducting this survey? So you can talk about how can technology help. Nothing but digitization of data or digitization of surveys. Simply, you can talk about digitization of survey, and then usage of smart devices to take surveys. So these kind of simple answers will do. Do not panic. You need not give them the proper technology. You just tell them smart devices can be used. Artificial intelligence can be used to take a survey of a large sample size and give us the proper data. Okay, instead of using a human to analyze all the data, you can use artificial intelligence. What happens here? Error will be reduced. So these kind of answers, very simple and logical answers can be used. And even if you know any particular technology, it is good. If you do not know any particular technology, it is fine. Simply use smart devices, artificial intelligence, digitization of data filing. These data analysis techniques can be used. Okay, so these kind of questions can be answered like this way. So either you go in a very particular manner if you know. If you do not know, use very basic answers. Okay, when you are going into a particular technology, ensure that you know about that particular technology, at least the basics. Okay, yes. Next. UP Population Control Bill. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister launched the state population policy for 21 to 2030. Also, draft of the Uttar Pradesh Population Control Bill has been published. So under this bill, 2-child norm would be implemented, and person who's having more than 2 children after the law comes into force would be debarred from the benefits of government welfare schemes. So so what kind of questions you can expect in this, I'll tell you. So you can expect questions like, can this law be enforced? Is it against constitution? This kind of questions can be asked. So you should say that it can be enforced, but voluntary. It is promotion. It should be more of a promotion than a punitive form of population control. These kind of answers can be given. Okay. So on the one side, when we are promoting 2 children, the other side, women empowerment can also help in reduction of population. Okay. Instead of going to a punitive form of population control, incentivization form of population control can be even more effective. These kind of statements can be answered. Mostly, is this question right? Is it against constitution? Kind of questions can be asked. Okay. Poverty and issues. Poverty is a complex phenomena. Always expect this question related to poverty alleviation related questions will come. Please do look into data related to what is the definition of poverty, what are the indicators of poverty, and then multidimensional poverty index by Niti Aayog. What are the two different criteria, extra criteria of this multidimensional poverty index? Okay, please see that. So poverty and issues. See, poverty is a complex phenomena in which an individual or group lacks the means of subsistence and other basic necessity. World Bank defines poverty as a severe lack of well-being that has several dimensions. Please, that multidimensional poverty index of Niti Aayog, please go and look into it. Very, very important. Because according to this, even not having a bank account is poverty index. Please go and look into it. And one more thing is poverty has a very, very different dimension. It is not just about food, dress, or or all other concept. We all know that, but still I'm just asking you to revise it. So low salaries, inability to obtain the fundamental goods, services, all these things we can talk about. And questions, persistent and unchecked poverty is one of the ironies of technologically progressing world. Why does poverty still exist? So for these questions, you should be able to answer why, what is the reason for inequality? What does this mean? It means the reason for inequality. So you should address what are all the reasons for inequality. And then they will be asking what are the types of poverty existing in the world. Please do look into the types of poverty. And how is poverty estimated in India? Go and look into what are the types of poverty estimation in India. What are the dimensions of poverty? What are the indices used? And what are the measures to tackle it? So when you speak about measures to tackle it, again, short term, long term. We can provide them the basic amenities. In long term, we can empower them in the to earn those basic amenities by giving them jobs, employment opportunities, by generating employment opportunities. Fine. So these kind of answers can be given here. Can you draw correlation between poverty and population? So here they are talking about how increase in population and poverty are there. So here you can talk about higher population will reduce the implementation. There will be hurdles in the implementation of government poverty alleviation schemes that you can talk about. Okay. So in many situations, the opportunities are limited when the population is high, which will lead to inequality and poverty. These kind of answers you can give here. So we are often called, has this anything to do with poverty? What about poverty in the Western world? So this is one very good question. It is about international relations also. So Western countries speak about India because they have some prejudices. Okay, these movies and then media, they promote, they say that India is always like this. They show the streets which are, they have a prejudice about India. And is that true? Has this anything to do with poverty? That's different. And Western world also has poverty. That also you should speak about. And here, how Western world has poverty, you should speak about those indices. What are the indices of poverty? And how do you link them with the Western world's poverty? You speak about them. Okay. And if you're talking about Europe, how in Europe the countries have inequality. So please go and check what are all the countries who are very good performing. Even now, many countries have faced, bankruptcy. They have faced high economical issues. So address those countries. You can use them as examples here. Okay. Yes. Next is migrant issue. It is a matter of serious concern that despite being the largest migrant sending country, India has yet to have a tangible and comprehensive migration policy that upholds worker rights. International Organization for Migration defines these kind of definitions are mostly asked. What is migration? Simple question they might ask. What is migration? So what is migration is any person who's moving or who has moved across an international border or within a state away from his or her habitual place of residence. That is very important. Migration doesn't mean that moving out of the country. Within the country also migration can take place. Okay, migration is a common word for immigration and emigration. Okay, that also you should talk about. And number of internal migrants, and also see what are the reasons for migration. And India, what is the major reason for migration? In world level, what is the major reason for migration? Especially in world level, climate change related migration is very high. Okay. In India also, you please go and check what is the major reason. Marriage is also one of the reasons for migration in India. Yes. Is movement from rural area to urban area in the same state included in migration? Yes, that is also a form of migration. Okay. Yes. What are the factors determining? See, migration is a general term. Moving from the place of residence to other place itself is migration. That can be rural to urban, state to state, or country to country, anything. Anything can be a migration. Now I am in one place, I'm in another place, it's a migration. What are the factors determining migration? Do you know about the push and pull factors? Please go and look into it. What are the factors determining migration? What is a push factor? What is a pull factor? Nothing but what makes a people go away from the place? What makes the people go to a particular place? That is what they're asking. Please go and look at what are those factors determining the migration. Okay, you can. These are all very simple questions. You can just think and answer. It is very easy. When there is high opportunity, when the quality of life is better, people obviously move to that particular place, and vice versa. That's all. Very simple. You can answer. And please try to find the data if possible. If not, it's totally okay. Migrant workers are deprived of many opportunities to exercise their political rights, like the right to work. What can be? So now there are many schemes. One card, one nation scheme, and then this right to vote related issues like voter ID. So all these you can talk about. What can be done, you can speak about here. And migration has led to formation of large-scale slums in urban centers. Is this analysis correct? And yes, migration has led, especially rural to urban migration has led to this urban centers. That's actually true. Okay. So you can say that, yes, large-scale some slums in urban areas are, are caused with, migration from rural to urban area as one of the reasons. That you can state yes. What steps should be taken to prevent forced migration due to economic reasons? So we all know how to answer. You please address these questions. Does migration promote unity or leads to regionalism? See this question. Does migration promote unity or leads to regionalism? For this question you have to take the middle path. Okay. So when does that lead to regionalism? When the opportunity is seen or is considered to be taken by the migrant, then it leads to regionalism. Next is when it promotes unity, when there is a tolerance, increase in tolerance among the people, it definitely will improve the unity. So you have to address both, but give a substantiation. When does it lead to regionalism? When does it lead to unity? So the one answer here is tolerance. Okay, the feeling of one nation will definitely promote unity. There are many situations where people from different states live from the states away and they feel home. That is also happening. So you can quote both with when does this happen, when does that happen. Okay. You should say it is leading to both in certain situations. These kind of answers can be given. Next is tribal welfare. So today's last topic is tribal welfare. See about tribal welfare. Nowadays, many questions are asked in prelims and mains also. So we can expect question in terms of personality test. And especially when you are having anthropology as an optional, please ensure that you study about tribal welfare in a very, very clear manner. And they will expect your answer to be very, very, refined compared to some people who are not of anthropology optional. So when you talk about tribal welfare, there should be very good clarity. So please do revise anthropology options. So obviously other society-based questions. So sociology optional people also, please do revise your optionals. All the optionals I will suggest you to revise it. Because obviously question will come from that and you can expect question from optionals. And please keep one thing in mind. Those questions will not sound like your optional based question. They look very, very neutral. Okay. So what kind of topic we can expect for management optional? See, what they'll do is they'll link your management option with governance. And the question will be like, how do you think your optional will help you in governance? These kind of questions they will ask. Okay. So for anthropology people, they can be questioned about recent issues, ethnicity related issues. Okay. For sociology, we can expect questions related to caste-based issues. So whatever that is, governance is the basic thing here. So they will try to link your optional other things with the governance here. Okay, social justice, everything here. So ensure that you are questions will be more application form of your optional. That is how they will ask you. Okay. So tribes not only contribute to the rich cultural and ethnic diversity of India, but also play a major role in forest and biodiversity conservation and protection. As per Census 2011, 8.6% of India's population constitutes scheduled tribes. The Constitution of India ensures various provisions for socio-economic development of tribes. So please go and look at tribal welfare related schemes. What is TriFed? What is this? The National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. Even you can expect a question, why there was a need for dividing National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe? What is the reason? So if those kind of questions are asked, you should tell them that the need for tribal people are different compared to scheduled community people. So there is a very big difference. They will ask, what do you think is the difference? Then you should talk about tribal scheduled tribes have various issues, mainly related to land alienation, denial of their forest rights. So these are the issues they are facing. So ensure that you know about Forest Rights Act, ensure that you know about National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, and then Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and then what is TriFed, and if there is any possibility of promotion of tribal products and GI tag, all these things you should be able to. They might ask you how to promote kind of questions. You can answer by saying that we can give GI tag, protection of tribal knowledge, okay, to prevent brain drain. These kind of answers can be given in a well-refined format. So what is the criteria for defining a community as a tribe? Please go look into it. What are the conditions for tribe and what are the conditions for PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal group? Both are different. Please go and have a look into it. And usually they will avoid, generally they'll ask what are the PVTGs. And if you are anthropology optional, at least know PVTG of your particular state. Okay, there are so many PVTGs, so many names that you cannot remember, but at least try to know the PVTG of your particular state alone, at least. Okay, then know the difference between ST, scheduled tribe, and PVTG. Okay, that is also very important. And know about the constitutional provision and who declares a scheduled tribe, who has the power to include a tribe as a scheduled tribe. These kind of question we can get. And what is the Ekaleva model residential school? What are the issues in terms of Ekaleva model residential schools can be a question. Especially this native language. The teachers who teach in their own language is the very big issue when it comes to Ekaleva model residential school. Okay, so that can be the answer you can give. Dropout rates are higher. These kind of answers. And what impact will this uniform civil code have on tribes? Will they be ready to accept? And obviously, they will have resistance for accepting uniform civil code. So first, you should know about what is uniform civil code. It is in BPSP. Now there is a request for implementing uniform civil code, and they might ask, will they be ready? Definitely, there will be a resistance in the tribal population. They might ask how it can be addressed. In that situation, uniform civil code can be, you should say that it can be implemented, but still with exceptions to certain population. So these kind of answers can be given. What is TriFed? Has it turned out fruitful or not? So you go and learn about TriFed, and it has turned out fruitful, and you should give them the answer how it has turned out fruitful, how it has developed the welfare of tribes. And what do you know about PVTGs? Can you tell us any specific scheme related to PVTG? So please go and look into tribal welfare. Very, very, very important. And when you speak about tribal welfare, one important thing is don't ever address non-tribal people as normal people. That mistake everybody does. So even if you are anthropology optional or not anthropology optional, whenever you speak about people, tribal people and non-tribal people, so ensure that you do not use the word normal, tribal and normal people. Ensure that you do not use that word. Please be very cautious when you speak about tribal people. Okay, because when you speak in that way, It shows that you have a ethnocentric, or you believe that tribal people are low in terms of their culture. Do not express these kind of statements, these kind of words. That's why I'm telling you, whenever you're studying, whenever you're writing, whenever you're speaking, start practicing from now. Ensure that you are cautiously using certain words. And this comes when you take a pause between every word. Speak in a slow format, so that you can, you're not anxious, you're not very fast, that you are not able to control what you speak. Okay. Yes. So thank you so much. So if there is any doubt, please do ask. So if there is any doubt, please do ask.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, regarding marriage age for women, you have said about the consent also, and we do have a age of consent act also. So, do we have? They may ask like there is a discrepancies in the law itself. So, how we can answer that question, ma'am?
See, age of consent act is different. What is age of consent act is, even though the girl is giving a consent, and that can be taken as an independent consent after particular age, right? Now there is a question related to this minor. I know there is a statement like minor related, age of consent related issues are happening. So here the rights of age of marriage 21 is not age of consent related concept. They're saying that minimum age should be 21. So when there is a question of discrepancy in terms of law, how you should answer is that again. So we can amend, we can change. These kind of answers should change, kind of answers should be given. Instead of completely removing it, no, it is wrong. These kind of answers should be avoided. Okay, try to give it in a positive form. We should change these kind of answers. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And can we write meditation, jogging as hobby? Yes, you can write meditation, jogging as hobby, Akhil. But one thing here is, when you are writing any hobby, meditation, jogging, any hobby, ensure that you know it in your personal level. This is how you should choose what hobby you are giving. You should be aware how it is affecting your personal life, how it is improving your life. Number one. And number two is it helpful in terms of in any international events that has taken place, or if there is any achievement you have done, or is there anything special you have done? All these things. And again, knowing about the basics of what you're doing. For example, if meditation or jogging, they might ask, what is the difference between jogging and running? These kind of questions you should expect. You can give meditation and jogging, you can give any kind of hobbies, but ensure that you will be able to answer certain questions when it is raised from that particular hobby. That is the only thing. Please don't create a hobby as of now. If you are creating one hobby now, but are you confident enough to answer it in the personality test? Then you write it. That is how you should choose, because there is no one hobby which is good, which is no. It depends on the individual. You can write any hobby you want. Two hobby, at least you can write. One hobby, at least you can write. But ensure that you are ready to answer it in personal level, national level, international level. This is how you should choose. If you are ready, then you can give. Okay. And even if you are continuously doing it for a long time, please give it and prepare what all levels are now. Okay, they will definitely ask this question. And they will also ask how you use this hobby in terms of governance, public policies, how this will help in that. These kind of questions will ask. For example, if I am giving gardening as a hobby, I will get a question: how gardening will help in terms of climate change mitigation. These kind of questions I can expect. So the same way you can also expect in terms of national level, international level, and personal level, how it has helped in your health, how it has helped you, all these things. Yes. See, I will see hobbies. Minimum of one. You should definitely give a hobby, and I won't suggest giving more than three. Three is like maximum. I will suggest not beyond Why? Because when you're giving so many hobbies, what happens is that more questions will be attracted. So you are attracting more questions. That is what I mean. Because till today, we might be doing hobby in a different format. But for personality test, how you are going to prepare for hobby is different. You have to collect more data. So when you're giving more hobby, it will become tough for you to collect data. That is the thing. And achievements, it's up to you. If you have you have achieved, you have certificates, you can give those achievements. But ensure that those achievements also you should be ready to answer questions which are raised from those achievements. That also you should ensure. For example, you are a champion in particular sport, question will come from that particular sport. Same national, personal, international level. So whatever you are mentioning, you should be sure that you should be able to answer. And obviously achievements, if you have achieved something, you should know about it. Yes. If you have any achievements, it's good. Mention it. But ensure that you are able to learn about it. That's the only thing. Okay. May I know what is net JRF? May I know what is this net JRF? Okay. Yes. Junior Research Fellowship. Okay. So Junior Research Fellowship, yeah, you can mention the same thing. Whatever you are mentioning, they will ask as a question. That is the only thing. Whatever you are mentioning, you are researching, it's good. But be ready to answer those questions. That's all. Okay. So because they will have your data in the hand, you can mention. But only thing is, they will have. And while we are speaking about DAF, tomorrow we have a session on how to fill the DAF. Please do attend it. You'll get the link also. Please do attend it. Completely submitting your DAF. That will definitely help you. Okay, it will help you in even more better manner. Yes. Any other doubts? Yes. Okay, so I hope everybody have understood. We'll meet in other classes also. We'll discuss some more important topics. And if you have any doubts, please mail to that particular mail ID you are receiving mail from. And also join to the Telegram group. So we'll discuss more. And when you also find any data, find any article which will be helpful, please share it to the group. Okay, so thank you so much. All the best. I'm so happy for you all. You all can make it and be very confident. Thank you so much, and I'll meet you again. Thank you.